am compelled by Schlock.
What is up, everybody? I am Darby Ellis Lewis Wilson, and I am joined by my good buddy Chris Anonymous. I'm getting a lot of noises here. I got the video playing in the background, so I'm going crazy. But yeah, it is still Schlocktober. We are here to scare your schlocks off with another movie for you called Killer Mermaids. It is a Serbian created film that is barely in English. It has quite a bit to talk about. But first, before we get into it, I think it's probably pretty important that we talk about what is coming up this weekend. Chris, do you know?
No. What is coming up this
What could it be? What could it be? So this Saturday, October 16th, we will be in Scottsbluff, Nebraska for the High Plains MiniCon. We will be doing a live show there at 10:30 a.m., 10:30 in the morning. That's very early for me on a Saturday. I'll probably have coffee with me instead of my regular can of blurred out Busch Light. But we will be talking about a very classic movie. Came out in 1992. It spawned an entire series and an entire nerd following called Buffy the Vampire Slayer, starring Pee Wee Herman's Paul Rubin, Luke Perry, Donald Sutherland, Hilary Swank, David Arquette. It's kind of a star-studded cast, and I'm actually pretty excited for it. We just decided before this show that we were going to watch it. We wanted to get you all prepared for it because you can watch it on Tubi right now. So if you get a chance, watch it and come join us. Otherwise, we will be sharing our live session next Monday at 6:00. Does that about cover it, Chris? Did I miss anything there?
Yeah, no, that sounds about it. Great movie. We'll be doing what we do live, and then that will be our Monday show. So if you can come join us, that would be awesome. But before we get to Buffy the Vampire Slayer this weekend, we have another movie to talk about right now.
Yes. So this movie, I could not find how much it costs to make. All I could find, and I always think this is where the finding the finances on these movies are kind of interesting. If anybody knows an easier way other than just like looking at the Wikipedia page or the IMDb page, please let me know. But yeah, it's weird that you can't find on some of these movies what it costs to make, but you can find like what it made. So worldwide, on the entire planet Earth, this movie made $126,000, which I really hope it didn't cost much more than that to make.
I think it probably did.
Yeah, well, there is an implication of a Killer Mermaid Part 2 that this movie came out in 2014, I believe, and we have yet to see a thrilling sequel. So
don't know why. Don't know why.
There is a lot to talk about in this movie, so we'll start right into it with the good, the bad, and the schlock. Chris, what was good about this movie?
Okay, a couple things I thought were really good. Pretty people and pretty places. It was fun to look at. It was fun
Absolutely.
to look at. I thought the casting was really good for having a low budget. There are some decent names in horror and just schlocky and just cult classic genre itself.
See, I'll cut you off right there really quick. I was looking up a lot of these actors because I had not really seen them before, but it looks like so the reason, correct me if I'm wrong, you picked this movie this week because we had been doing sort of classic kind of classic horror movies,
Right.
From around the 80s, 90s, 70s. And you wanted to pick something a little later, a little closer to where we are now.
Something I hadn't seen, hadn't heard of, kind of newer, and that looked, bad.
Yeah. And while I was looking up kind of who's who in this movie, a lot of what they were in, I didn't recognize. But it seems like if we are going to be doing more modern schlock in the future, we will definitely come across a lot of these people again. Barring two people that I noticed that were of note.
So Franco Nero was the casting surprise for me that made me super happy. I mean, he's Django. So it was awesome seeing him as the kind of good guy at the end.
Well, and then he stole the movie. He stole the movie. As soon as he came in. I was like, okay, here's some legitimacy as Nico, the doomsayer.
Yep.
Yeah, there he is.
Well, and so, I wanted to bring up this point is a classic Harbinger scene, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which, even in a schlocky movie, it still hits those points of like, these aren't teens, they're adults, but they're going off toward the doomed place, and they have
Camp
to be
Crystal
warned.
Lake or... You kids best not go there. Sometimes dead's better.
And
he's that guy.
It was so on the nose too. I loved it. Okay, so the other thing that I thought was good is I love grainy digital. I love the look of the. It was like probably like what early 2000s to like 2015ish. I mean, those are arbitrary, but like it just had some really cool like just. It's an aesthetic that I like watching. It's grainy and it's digital, and there's something that I just really like about it. Mm-hmm. It's personal taste, but and I want to hit on that. The movie itself, I thought like looked really good, right? It had that low budget look to it. Yep. The grainy digital that is a great way to put it. But as far as the setting goes, you said beautiful people and beautiful places. Yep.
I can absolutely see why they made this film, why somebody was out floating around in their boat someday and said, man, we have got to shoot a film here. This place is beautiful. There is a castle here.
Yeah. That castle is so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you see that, you have to, have a movie. Yeah.
Yeah. Right there. Fort Mamula. Yeah. What a beautiful place. And that was absolutely in my good column. I loved looking at this movie.
So you and I had some similar things on the good. Is there anything good that I didn't mention that you liked?
So what I thought was really cool was the murder weapon. We're looking, I always look for a cool slasher weapon, right? Jason's got his machete, Freddy Krueger's got his claws, and I don't even really know what this is. It's like a hook to hook sharks or whales with or something. It's a fishing
shark
hook maybe.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but it's called a shark hook right now.
But I thought it was great. The chain on it so he could like toss it. I don't know. I just thought that was a very cool weapon. And I thought just the concept of kind of like a silent, dirty old fisherman killing pretty people. I thought that was a good take on sort of the slasher idea.
Yeah. I agree. So what was bad?
Well, there was a lot of bad stuff in this movie. Namely, a lot of the acting, a lot of the special effects. But and maybe it's not bad. There are things that I really didn't like and I really didn't care for. And the biggest thing is the relationships that these characters had to one another. I did not care about at all. They seemed like they were put in there just purely for the sake of drama. We know that people when people write scripts, right, the idea is like, what's the conflict in a scene? And to me, this just felt like invented conflict, right? We have these people together. They're all sleeping with each other, but they're all engaged to other people, or I don't know. I just didn't care about that at all. It didn't play any real parts in the movie, right? It didn't seem like it really had a lot of character motivation. The Bobbin character, who I'm pretty sure was sleeping with Yasmin, I would guess, he like sheds a tear when she dies. But other than that, I don't think that any of those relationships really played any huge part in what was going on.
Yeah, I agree with you. Bad special effects, bad scenes, really bad dialogue. Not all of it, but a lot of it was really bad. Like, hey, what's up with Kelly on the boat today?
Well, but you have to do it like, hey, what is up with Kelly on the boat today?
Right. So lots of bad stuff like that. Bad relationships, how everything ties together. Okay. So what my biggest pet peeve I thought was bad is the mermaid tease. We finally get a mermaid.
Go on.
An hour in. It's an hour and a half movie called Killer Mermaid. And we don't, there she is. That is an hour and 2 minutes and 31 seconds into the film.
Yeah. Well, it's sort of like Jaws, right? I mean, we know it's like this looming threat from the title.
Yeah, but we see Jaws. We don't see Jaws himself, but we see his actions.
How dare I compare it to the masterwork?
Yeah, I mean, we have a different villain. We have a slasher fic with a creepy boatman, which you pointed out, which is fine. And, I don't know if it's a marketing thing, because I don't think the original title is Killer Mermaid. I think it's Nymph, which is what was in the credits at the end.
Yeah, I was actually going to talk about that later, but I actually made a list of all the different names of this movie.
Nice. I would love to hear them.
Mamula, however it's said, Nymph, Sirena, which I believe is mermaid in another language, Killer Mermaids, plural, Dark Sea. But my most favorite one is it's the Brazilian title. It's A Seria Assassina, which to me sounds like the Siren Assassin, but according to Google, it's just Murderous Mermaid. But I thought Siren Assassin. I'm like,
yeah.
Damn, that sounds like a cool movie.
And
that sounds like something I want to see.
It was interesting. I think we're kind of just dovetailing or mermaid telling into the schlock. It's interesting to have like the idea of a mermaid and a siren. I mean, they're separate creatures and they're both real, but I loved the idea of a siren causing the men to kind of go insane. And I wish they would have done more of that. Like, that is a cool movie where like half the people you're with, you can't trust, and they might betray you because they're under the siren's spell. And like they hinted at that a couple times, but I would have loved to seen like a whole, like, let's say you had 5 or 6 or 7 people with you, and like, maybe you think you're escaping with them, but they're actually leading you deeper in because they've been, seduced.
Yeah, I actually really thought the premise, the overall premise of this movie was actually really brilliant, and a lot of the bad portion of this movie came from the spoiler title, right? Had it been something a little more enigmatic, like a Siren Assassin or Dark
Under
Sea,
the Sea,
yeah, where it leads you to believe that there's a serial killer fisherman who's killing people.
Right, and the twist is that there's a mermaid.
Yeah, and I mean, it's all right there, right?
Yeah, like why is this guy, like, people keep disappearing from the dock? I wonder why. There's this evil fisherman, and so that's the movie, and the twist is
Well, and we have this character who's supposed to be a journalist, right? So an investigative person.
Right.
And we have another character who is out there looking for his missing daughter. Nico, the doomsayer, he's looking for his missing daughter. This journalist, she takes the picture down the well and sees a girl right there. We have like a ton of motivation for the movie. Like, oh, this must be the missing girl. We like have to help this person. And everybody could have been on board with that. And the movie could have turned out very different.
Yeah. You could have made this a really cool movie. There's just so many schlocky things though, that like, it felt like they were serving the schlock as opposed to like the wannabe Jaws music.
Yeah.
Right. Are like the guitar dance party. Like, so they have a fight and then they're like, let's go dance. And then you cut back and she's giggling and holding a guitar. And then you cut back and she's dancing again. And then you cut back and she's got a guitar. And like, that's such a weird, bizarre choice. Like
that scene just made me feel so awkward. And there's part of me that's like, well, mission accomplished, right? They're having like this weird relationship argument of did you sleep with her? Do you like her better? However they sound.
Right.
And then they're just like, no, whatever. Let's dance. Let's dance to music that's not there.
And that would have been fine. It's still awkward, but if you're just dancing, but then like, you know what? She needs to pick the guitar up and it just takes you out of everything. Not that you were really in it very much in the first place, but like just a bizarre choice.
Well, we had this picture up here a little bit earlier that was in my bad, but the shot right after the opening sequence of Kelly and Lucy, they just get off the plane and the plane goes by them and they just have this, I don't know. It just seemed like very Michael Bay to me. And they like look and they like kind of look at each other and like wink, or they put their sunglasses down or something. To me, it just felt like it really broke the fourth wall. Just because it's like, who does that? Who stands in front of this plane for this photo opportunity that, as far as we know, nobody is taking the photo. So this is
the mermaids
for
watching
us,
him.
The audience. Yeah, that's the angle.
That's the mermaid watching him angle. Yeah. And it also comes down to like, well, we had talked about the Harbinger and things like that, but like the main girl, the final girl, right?
Useless,
but they also give her the Jaws backstory. They give her the weird, like, I'm afraid of water because something bad happened, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
And then they also make her the prude. Like, she's the one who like chastises her friend for sleeping with her ex who's engaged to Yasmin, right? Like it fulfills all the final girl requirements of like, to be prudish and to have some kind of like backstory that doesn't really matter. Like, and then at the end, like, why would she not just like, yeah, you can fight all those mermaids. I'm just going to back up. I'm just going to leave.
Well, so that's the thing is one, her backstory, but her brother drowned or something like that.
Right.
So she's like kind of afraid of the water. Like there's the scene where like, yeah, she learned how to swim after that, but she doesn't like to go in the water. So it's like, okay, I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of afraid of the water because I can't swim that great, but I don't know. It didn't really like pay off in the end. There's a part where she has to like jump from the boat to the ladder. And it wasn't like really to save anybody, right? She like had she needed to do that to save Bobbin or Lucy, like the time when the mermaid pulls Lucy into the water and Kelly is looking into the water, like that's like the time to have her overcome her fears or right. fail. But she can fail once and then she has to overcome it later. But it just felt very low stakes in the moment. But I will say that as far as the final girl goes, the final girl trope, yeah, she's just completely useless throughout the entire movie. she has a chance to be the final girl badass to take on the creature, to take on the main villain. But we have like 3 different instances of her like passing the buck. So they get an axe. They go to his name is the Guardian in the movie. He the actor is have it written down here. Miki Kristovic, who looks like he's a pretty famous actor in his own right, in his own region. Nearly 200 movies to his name. Anyway, he has the room where he's grinding his shark hook, and they go in there and they find an axe, and she takes it and she's walking around with it, but Bobbin is like he's like kind of possessed
under her spell. Yeah.
He becomes unpossessed. She gives him the axe.
Why would you do that? Because you know he could get possessed again.
Right. So she passes the buck. She gives it to a person that like can be influenced.
The only time she does it. Yeah, go ahead.
Later in the boat, Nico hands her the harpoon gun to shoot the mermaid, and she's like, ah! And eventually he's like, give me that gun so I can shoot the mermaid. Right. And then at the very end, does she grab the spear harpoon and go and stab the mermaid for killing all of her friends?
Yep.
No, she picks it up and hands it to Nico, and he goes and stabs the mermaid, right? Every time she's given an opportunity to take a big action, she passes it off.
She did. She stabbed the mermaid once. She dived into the water with it and stabbed her.
That's true. That is true. But then didn't she finish the job? Right.
Yeah. I mean, that was her moment of like, okay, I couldn't do it. I do it. And, she's diving into the water. So that was like her cool moment. Yeah. But then instead of just letting that be it, they have to bring the mermaid back on land. And then they throw a net over her, and that somehow like stops her.
Oh, no. Nets. My only weakness.
Yeah.
I have opposable thumbs. I could never get out of this.
And then he's so cool at the end. I can't think Franco Nero is the actor's name. I can't think of what
Nico
Harbinger. Nico, yeah. But like her sisters are coming for revenge. And I'm like, that's a fun way to set up a sequel, but like this girl has no stakes. All her friends are dead. She's on land. All she has to do is slowly back up. Yeah. And when she gets to a safe distance, run.
Yeah, we just go to land, right?
Right. And so like, and then I'm thinking, well, how are they going to do this? And the only thing I could think of for like a cool idea for a sequel is like they get to shore and they lure all the men out.
Ooh.
I mean, that other than that, you're on land, so just stay on land. Their servant who is dead, they killed the other guy, his lieutenant or whatever from the past. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think you're onto something there. This movie would have been better had it been billed as like a slasher movie with a mermaid twist. And maybe a sequel would be good as kind of like a zombie movie, right? A lot of people, not just like 1 or 2 people possessed by the mermaids, but like all of the men on the shore, right? They get in this zombie-like thing and they're walking to the ocean. Right. Well, and so it's a zombie movie with a mermaid twist.
Well, or it's similar to a zombie movie. It could also be like picture 2 guys under her spell grabbing a woman and carrying her to the sea and just tossing her in to be mermaid chum. And she's kicking and screaming the whole time, but like she can't beat these guys under the spell. Yeah.
Right.
This movie, could have been so cool.
Speaking of mermaid chum, I have a very important question to ask you. Mm-hmm. I think I got a picture here of some slimy substance on the ground. What is this? Is this mermaid poop? Like,
that's the only thing.
Am I being very naive? Is it something sexual?
No, it's something mermaidy because she's creeped out by it. But what was the mermaid doing that high up? The only person up there was her henchman. I can't think of his name. The Guardian guy.
Yeah.
The Guardian. So the only one up there is the Guardian. and then the guy has a siren spell and dives off. But the movie makes you want to think it's some kind of mermaid thing. So it could be mermaid poop.
Yeah, I thought. Yeah, we see it once at the beginning in the opening scene. They step on it and they're like, "Ooh, what's this?" And then when they come into the room upon discovering the mermaid, an hour into the movie, they look like each one of them, or each instance, like they make note of it. Right, like there's all sorts of disgusting stuff in this room, right? There's like these skeletons, like these half-eaten corpses, but like they specifically hone in on this thing. And I feel like, okay, so these are like average people, right? I'm an average person. Why is it that they honed in on that and I didn't? Does that mean there's like something I don't know about mermaids or fish anatomy, or like it never pays off, and I feel stupid. This movie made me feel stupid.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I have no idea what it is. It's some discharge from a mermaid. I don't know. Maybe when she does her transformation into a weird monster, because that's another weird option, right?
The mermaid discharge, her true form.
Yeah, maybe when she goes from true form to the other, it's like snake skin. It's the mermaid skin that she sheds.
Maybe that's a good theory.
But why was it up top? You know what I mean? Like, because they were up on a cliff when they were making out and whatnot, and getting into hanky panky, and then he gets the siren song and he dives off, and she's crying out for help, and that's when the guardian comes with his shark hook into the side of her head.
Maybe it's maybe they shed it and then they like toss it around like a brazier, and they like toss it onto land to like lure the men. Maybe that's part of it.
Yeah, maybe it's like a pheromone thing. Or maybe it's very used in like mermaid perfume. What's the whale stuff that they use? I
can't remember. It's like whale barf. Yeah.
But it's like, it's got a
looks
cool
like
name. Ambergris or something like that. Ambergris. I'm saying it wrong, but it's something like that. I'm sure our astute listeners will correct us and be like, it's ambergris. Ambergris?
Hamburgers. No, I don't know.
Hamburger helper.
But as a lure, you bring up the pheromones. So these things are supposed to be like siren-esque.
Right.
And we keep hearing about how they lure men with their song. Do we ever really like hear the song? We hear some eerie music.
Yeah, we hear like some.
No,
it's like just more like a, like just very subtle, and it's not like a song.
It just makes me think of "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou," when the women are singing in the river and the men are like, "Oh, that's a beautiful noise," right? Those are sirens, absolutely.
Correct.
Here,
no,
I don't.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, you're 100% correct. But I did love the Dark Seas techno-ish song in the beginning, pop song. That was so like, it felt like it was written for it, and it was just crappy enough and just good enough that like, yeah, right. I enjoyed that thoroughly.
I think it's very interesting that the opening credits were solely devoted to this couple.
I thought they were going to be like the stars in it, because it's such a fun way to introduce a couple.
Right. Yeah. You're totally invested in them, and then they die. So was that clever, or was that a missed opportunity to set up like the history of this fortress and the mystery surrounding it?
Or to set up, they could have done that same intro, but with the two girls, and maybe show photos from the guy in college. Like, you could have set up the entire relationship. You could have upped the shit out of this, and it would have been just
absolutely.
Yeah. So missed opportunity.
Yeah. In the end, this movie, great premise, very, very interesting, but just full of missed opportunities.
Yeah. I'm glad I watched it. I'll probably never watch it again.
Yeah, you're right. I probably won't watch it.
I mean, a group of people like, hey, we're reliving all the best episodes of Compelled by Schlock. Let's watch Kill a Mermaid. I'd be, okay.
Yeah. You know what? If anybody out there wants to watch this again and have us be a part of it, I would absolutely watch this movie again with a smile. And that is our time for the week. I am Darby Ellis Lewis Wilson. This is Chris Anonymous. We will be in Scotts Bluff at the High Plains MiniCon this coming Saturday, October 16th at 10:30 a.m. You'll have a special episode on Monday. And until next time, stay compelled by Schlock.
Schlock.
Bye, everybody.
Schlockity schlock. Schlocky schlock. Schlock. Schlocky schlock.